Hello everybody, my name is Rob, I am the Director of Platforms and Gamification Australia, and this is the part 2 of the training videos on how to use the Platforms program as an administrator. So in the last video we went through the signing in process and just some basics of how to view and invite people within your organization to the game and how to set up those accounts. In this video we're going to go through the questing and the powers. Now we're going through those together because they're a little bit more in depth, but they are also closely related in how they work. So what we're going to do now is just sign into our admin account again. Again, I'm going to cut the video here just to make sure that we're not exposing any emails or any passwords. And then I'm going to see you in a couple of minutes, or to you it'll be a couple of seconds, when we're in the Platforms dashboard. See you soon. So, here we are. Now we're back at the dashboard again, and you'll notice that we've now signed in successfully, and now we're going to have a look at the quests. Now, if you hover over the quest tab here and click on it, you'll see that you have two options. The first one is View Quests, and the second one is Add Quest. So, we're going to start at the View Quests button. Beautiful. So, now you can see here that we have very little actually in terms of the amount of quests here, but this is again the training ground. So, in the organizations that you'll be using, you'll probably have significantly more than this. But basically you've got at the top here a very basic filtering program, so you can see the quests that have already been approved, quests that are pending, and the quests that you've created yourself. So we'll go through that probably in a little bit more detail later, because that'll be more relevant as we go through. But again, for the basic view, you can see that again you've got a list of quests that will go down the page. So every quest will be listed, and you can filter based on what it is that you're looking for. So you'll have the name of the quest, and in this case it's a test quest because it's just a test really. You'll have the genre of the quest, which is in this case well-being, but you would use this this field to basically add tags to how relevant the quest is for other people. So, for example, if you had a quest here for dealing with anxiety or maths or something, you'll put anxiety or maths in the genre, and that way, if someone else was looking at this quest looking for something to give to their students, they could see, oh, this is a maths quest. I actually really think that this will be quite useful for my student, and they can allocate it to their student. So you can see the genre tag will be a very easy way to see what a quest is about without having to read a mountain of information, and you can get it at a glance. The quest type, there's three types currently. There's the weekly quest, which you guys probably won't be using much, but they're they're basically shorter quests that we basically rotate on a weekly basis for our platformers to use. And you won't be making many of those, but feel free, of course, if you feel so inclined. You'll be mostly using the individual or the education quest, depending on what kind of administrator you are. So if you're a well-being person, individual quests are usually reserved for people who are dealing, people in the counseling or psychology modalities. So this will be maybe for a student working through anxiety or a depression or something like that. You would allocate them an individual quest because it's more tailored towards their individual needs. The other one, which is education, will be more for people like, say, teachers, which they may want to put their homework or even their whole curriculum in a questing platform. And that way they can students can earn points and experience points and gain levels by doing their homework and doing well in tests and so on. Now you've got the created by here, and of course that's by me, and the status, which is approved. Now I'll quickly go through that. Basically, every time someone creates a quest, it actually has to be screened for quality control. Now, of course, it's a very ambiguous sort of term, but essentially, if someone creates a quest for well-being purposes, the idea is that we want it to be based in some sort of empirical knowledge. So we couldn't say to somebody, make a quest for a student where they create a rainbow and feel like the color purple, and then they reflect on that. I mean, obviously that seems quite bizarre, and there wouldn't be a whole lot of empirical knowledge or science behind getting them to do that. So that quest would probably be denied. But if, say, there was a quest to do with intervening with someone who has anxiety, and as a quest they may need to do, or you may be asking them to do meditation or going on silent walks every day, or something along those lines. that would more than likely be approved because it's part of a mindfulness modality, and generally that's fairly well considered an approved way of dealing with these sorts of things. So those ones are more likely to get approved, of course. Obviously, again, same thing with education. There will be standards that need to be met. But every time you submit a new quest, it goes through this approval process, and of course this one has been approved. Now, to the right, you've got your My Allocations, and you can see here who these quests have been allocated to. So you can see here that it's got 3 platformers there. If I click on that, it will tell you who has the quest been allocated to. Now, if I was to uncheck all of these and click Allocate, it would unallocate this quest to all of these platformers. So it would actually be removed from their view, and they won't be able to actually do that quest anymore. But the reason I'm taking that off is so we can allocate it again, and you can see how this works. So if I wanted to say allocate this to Johnny Newbie, like our friend from before, we can click on 0 platformers now, and you can see this is actually the same sort of process that we had when we were doing the organizations. And that's deliberate. The idea is to make things as simple as possible to allocate things as much as possible. So if we wanted to say allocate this to Johnny Newbie, you've got the same process here. So we've got the tick here and the half-filled boxes above. And again, this means that Johnny is receiving this quest, and it shows that a partial selection of the group of Platforms Training Ground platformers has been selected, and a partial group of Platforms Training Ground, of the organization Platforms Training Ground has been selected. And then we can allocate that, and once we do that, when my internet loads, it should say 1 platformer allocated, as you can see there. Now, to make things a little bit more simple, so let's say we unallocate this to Johnny Newbie. Now let's say that we have a homework task, right, that we want to give to our classroom, an entire class of people. Now, it could be that you may have to select all of these students one by one, but luckily for us, we have designed this so you don't have to do that. So let's say that we had Platforms Training Ground, and within that was the group Platforms Training Ground platformers, and we want all of them to get this homework task. So we can select Platforms Training Ground platformers, and it will automatically select everyone in that group. Now this is incredibly powerful. So let's say if you wanted to give all of the students in the Wellbeing group a task at the same time, or a quest at the same time. So maybe you want all the people in Wellbeing to give someone a compliment today, and that's your quest for the day. You can allocate it to everyone with 1 click. That's all it takes, just 1. So again, if you wanted to give your homework to a whole class, or even a whole year level, like the whole year level is doing a maths test this week, and they all need to have this quest. You can click on the whole year level of, say, as this said, Year 7 students. You'll click on that, and every student in Year 7 will receive that quest. And it makes an incredibly powerful tool of administering content to as little or as many people as we need to, anywhere from 1 to 1,000 to 10,000, with only a few clicks. And it's usually about the same amount of clicks no matter how many, unless you're doing it obviously by individual, and obviously that's a little bit more. So you can see now that this has been allocated to 3 platformers in total. So that's pretty simple. It's actually quite easy to allocate quests based on, who you want to give it to, and you can customize it to the groups that you want to actually give it to. Now, what we're going to do now is quickly go to the Add Quests button. Now, when we click on the Add Quest, you'll be presented with a form, and this is actually hopefully quite simple to go through, but we'll go through it a little bit more anyway, just to make sure. And this is how you create your quests. Now, we want you guys to make as many quests as you like. Most organizations will actually have this function unlocked and not limited. So the idea is that you can create as many quests as you like to support the group that you're a part of. So if you're working with Year 7s, you can make as many homework tasks, as many well-being tasks as you see fit to make sure that your young people is properly supported. So to start at the top, it's quite easy. There's the name. Obviously, try and make it a little bit more engaging, not just generic homework task number 137. The genre, of course, like I said in the previous video, is about tagging what you see as relevant. So if it's a maths quest, it will be obviously maths. And you may want to put the year level that it's appropriate for. If it's well-being, you'll probably put well-being, and if it's addressing anxiety, you'll put anxiety. I mean, this is all pretty self-explanatory. And then you have your quest type, and as we said before, there's the weekly, individual, and education, and you would pick that based on what you're looking to do. So let's just make this pretty simple. Let's just say, let's make a quest called Pick a Flower. And the genre will be mindfulness and meditation. So this will be a quest that we're just making up on the spot. I'm literally doing this as I go, where they need to go for a walk, find a nice flower that they like, and then they need to pick the flower and have a think about what it is that they like about the flower, and just have that little moment to themselves for the day where they can have 5 minutes of walking on their own, reflecting, and looking at something nice. So, of course, this is going to be well-being, so we're going to have an individual quest, and on the description, we can put in as much or as little information as possible. However, obviously keep in mind that we're asking, you know, young people to read, and that can be, obviously, quite a task sometimes, so maybe we'll just go, today we want you to go for a walk. Sorry, for a walk. Find a nice flower and think about why you like it. Pretty simple. I'd probably make a little bit more information about it if I was to make this an actual quest, but seeing as this is just training, I'm going to leave it at that. Now you can expand these fields, so if you end up writing quite a lot, you can click on the corners here, those little lines, and you can drag it up and down. You can do that with a couple of the fields like the survey question and so on. So speaking of the survey question, we actually have a way to collate and build data, and say if this is about mindfulness and meditation, we could do a survey question to see how anxious the people who do this quest are over a period of time. So if we wanted to, say, start this quest at the start of the week and say, you are, or say, I am anxious most of the time. Not exactly an empirical question, but again, you can reference things like, say, the DAS survey or the 40 developmental assets or any sort of study that you like, and you can, you know, basically reference questions from there, and that'll give you a bit more of an empirical base. But it's always on a 5-point scale, which is, you know, strongly disagree, partially disagree, neither agree nor disagree, partially agree, strongly agree. So again, obviously you'd frame your questions to reflect that. Okay. Then we go to the experience reward. Now this is actually a fairly simple quest, so we don't want to give them an overwhelmingly large reward for it. But let's say, since it's going for a walk, finding something nice, and having that point of reflection, probably give them about 100 experience points for it, which is a nice reward. Optional reward, again, is totally optional. You are welcome to do this if you like. But this could be something like, if you do a very large quest and you want to give a reward like maybe free movie tickets or a gift voucher or something, you're welcome to put that in as well, but that's entirely at your discretion. We do have an age rating system as well, so again, if other people are looking at this quest and seeing if it's appropriate for their students, you could find that maybe in this quest it could be dealing with something quite heavy. This one isn't, but you know, you might find that, and of course you would put an age rating on that reflects that. And of course here, since it's quite easy and quite nice, we might just go with 5+. So again, because it's going to be quite easy to do, because it's not, it can be used for any level of anxiety, or maybe just someone's very sad and they need something to get, you know, something positive in their day. It could be done from anyone basically from 5+. Now the journal entry text is something that actually gets posted to the journals of the platformer as they complete the quest. So you can put a little message in here that will actually automatically go to their journal, which they can read as they succeed in the quest and as they turn in the quest. So, for example, I might put here, wow, how wonderful, found such a nice flower. Oops. Forgive my spelling. That's pretty much all the text, but this is where we can get into something a little bit more interesting. You can actually choose a JPEG file here, and if you've downloaded it from the internet, please try not to use any licensed content, but again, that's probably down to your discretion and your responsibility. But you can add an image file here, maybe just a picture of a flower would be appropriate here. I don't have one on me, but I could browse my computer and upload one for that. We can choose in the organizations who we actually want to see this quest. Now, in this field, you will only see the organizations that you are a part of. So you can't, as part of, say, the platform's training ground, allocate this quest or make this quest available to another organization, right? But if you were a part of multiple organizations, you can make it available to a part of or a subset of or all of those organizations. So basically, to do that, you just click on who you want to make it available to and click the one right arrow. Okay? Now I'll put that back again. So if you want to move it back, again you click and click the one left arrow. Now if you had multiple organizations, by clicking the two right arrows, and you'll see that it actually says there, move all, this will move all of the organizations over to the selected field and means that all the organizations will be able to use this quest. If you don't want that, only choose the quest that you want to make available. But for right now, we're just going to use the training ground, and we think that's fine. Now, this is one of the cooler things. So you can actually see here that you can actually attach assets as well. Now, this is another image. So if you wanted to add another image, you can certainly do that. But most probably usefully, you'll have the video and document. So if I was to add, say, video here, I can actually attach a YouTube URL, and I can actually embed that into the quest. So as they open this quest to have a read of what they're doing, rather than put a wall of text here, you can actually record a video of maybe yourself or someone, you know, charismatic and interesting, talking about the quest that they're doing and why they're doing it. Or maybe you've just got a YouTube video, maybe of just some flowers floating in the breeze, or, you know, maybe someone just talking about why they love flowers or something along those lines, and you can post that in there and it will actually come up on their journal as they're looking at the quest, and they can play that and watch that. So I'm just going to remove that for now because I don't have any videos handy about flowers. But you can also say add a document. So if I wanted to say add a document here, I can actually upload a document. So if it's for a homework task, for example, a teacher could upload a PDF or a doc from Word, a PowerPoint, an Excel spreadsheet, anything basically, you know, that's relevant to that sort of, you know, text-based stuff, and they can use that to, say, read their homework task on their iPad while they're doing the quest. So you have all these options available to you, and you have these tools. It's incredibly powerful to be able to basically add whatever media, whatever content you want to make this as engaging as possible. Now, when you're ready, you click on the Submit Quest for approval. Now, I'm going to click that here, and hopefully I filled out everything. But essentially what happens now is that this goes on to a pending list, and you can see here now that this is turned up in the list of quests, and it says pending. Now, you can also see that you can't actually click under the My Allocations yet. The reason why that is because of our quality control process. So what will happen now is that the super user, which is usually myself or maybe one or two other people, actually gets a notification that a new quest has been created. Now, as we do that, we will have a look at the quest. If you have sources on there, we'll check the sources. So if you have sources, please do post them. It is beneficial and useful to us. And we'll have a look through and make sure that the quest has merit, make sure that the reward is appropriate. So again, if I did the quest that I just did, like pick a flower, and then offered them, you know, 5,000 experience points, I would probably either edit that, or I'd contact you and have a talk to you about how the rewards are structured, because that's obviously quite a large reward, far too large for the effort that's required to do the quest. Now, once that's all done, we will approve it, and it turns into approved. And then you can go through the allocation process as we talked about before. So that's all it is for the quest. Now, I am actually going to stop here and go through the powers next time, because I feel like this has been quite a long video now, and I just don't want to overwhelm you all at once. So thank you for watching. Feel free to ask any questions either in the comments or through our support channel. So it's at support@platformsgame.com. Or talk to the admins within your organization if you need any help as well. So thank you. My name's Rob again, and I will see you for the next video.